special show for you this week with two of Southern Television's most well-known programmes, Out of Town and How. And we take a look at religion the Roger Royal way. But first, let's set the scene for you. It's the late 70s. Southern Television is coming to the end of its reign before handing on to TVS. And as always, the local day-by-day news reporters are out and about.
Bring your flippers forward and bring them back, or I can go down.
That's fine. Can I do it quickly?
Yes, come on, let's have a go here.
Right.
I'll check.
Now, keep an eye on him. I do not like the way he's advancing on me. What I like about you, cowardice is your middle name. Right, what do I do? Yeah? On the floor? Yes.
Oh, baby, to you I guess I'm just a clown who picks you up each time you're down. Oh, baby, so you win again, here I stand again, the loser.
It's surely somewhat bizarre, to say the least, that we should be dictated to as to what we choose to clothe our nether regions in during the morning when we get out of bed.
Well, as I said, by the end of the 70s, Southern Television's days were almost numbered. But one series that had been around almost as long as Southern Television itself was still going strong.
Something down there. Indeed, there is. What's that? What? That's very funny. Do you see that white patch down there? It's the backside of a big Frisian cow who's got through a hedge somewhere and wandered into the field. And there are the deer. And isn't it interesting that they must be very close to her? Well, they don't seem. Oh, they're just focusing her sound detector on me for a look. Look at that. The cow behind and the doe and the fawn in front, taking virtually no notice of her. Well, the light's beginning to go. In a minute or two now, it'll be too late for the camera, but from now until darkness is the time that we hope to watch them.
Yes, of course, the one and only Jack Hargreaves in Out of Town. The series ran for 26 years and was a huge success. But when Southern handed over to TVS, Jack decided to hang up his fishing rods.
Well, it's been nice to know you. Good luck to you all. And perhaps with any luck, we might meet again. Cheerio.
So did he retire? No, of course not. He was soon back on Channel 4 with a new series which lasted 3 years before he went back to his well-earned retirement. But he's not to be stopped. We had so many requests to see Jack on the screen again that we asked him if he'd do just one more Out of Town for us. And he agreed. So we sent our cameras down to the country to see just what he's up to.
Well, things are as they used to be. Still spend about half my life in the shed, particularly in winter time. Still can't resist mending things that were busted 50 or 60 years ago. And still can't throw anything away. I gave half of that collection of stuff to the New Forest Museum. A lot more of it went to the skittle alley in the local pub, but I've still got enough to illustrate the history of English country life from the very beginning. For instance, look at those. You won't find anything older in Great Britain man-made than that. These are a set of tools which were lying together, were ploughed up, and they belong to an early Stone Age man. If you look at that, it's got a hand axe. They used it like that for smashing things. But that shiny bit there where his thumb goes, I think means he was left-handed. He probably lost those in a fight with a rival hunting gang in what was going to become the New Forest 4,000 years ago. So that, and here's something. You see that? It's a splitter. And the woodmen in the woods who made their hurdles made this. He made it out of a piece of yew wood, the same wood that was used to make the bows. And with that, rocking it, he could split an 8-foot piece into exactly 3 pieces. That was the old man who still had that, gave it to me. He was a woodman working in the woods of Hampshire, and you'll never believe what his surname was. It was Bowman. And he also made this. When he wanted a tool to, or his grandfather did probably, to smooth the handles of the rakes and the brooms they made, it took a piece of a fagging hook, most famous of all country tools, and cut a piece out of it, bolted 2 split handles on it, hammered it until it was at the right angle, and then father and son, they used that as long as any of them could remember. And that, together with the drawer knife, gave birth to the modern spoke shave. And here's one of my handmade treasures. I do not know anybody else in England who's got one of these. As far as I'm concerned, I've only seen them in very old English sporting books. You see, that piece of hardwood is cut into that shape, and somebody has glued into it, little pieces of broken mirror all the way along, and it's put on a spindle, which goes into there, and this you drive into the ground in the middle of the stubble fields in the summer and autumn, and the skylarks are singing up above. And around it you put some little flap nets which can be set off with strings, and then you take the string that belongs to this, which would be very much longer, be 3 times as long at least, and you got behind a bush and very gently you pulled it. And what do you think that looks like to the skylark up above? It looks like a pool of sparkling water. And he's up there all day sticking his heart out, and what he wants every so often is a drink. And he comes down and he settles alongside it, and flip go the flap nets. And the horrible thing is that his tongue then went off to become part of a dish of lark tongues at an aristocratic dinner. And the man who did it, of course, was called the Fowler. So if you know anybody called Mr. Fowler, this is how he started. Right, back to the job in hand. Now this is a miniature version of a Bradford flat cart. Those are the little fast carts that the gypsies used as dinghies, so to speak, when their wagons were parked. I like making carts for little ponies. This year I restored one that was 100 years old. It came out very nicely. A lady with a Dartmoor pony bought it because she wanted to drive her little grandchild. And this is what they sent me for a Christmas card. Isn't that nice?
No one does it better. Jack has come up from the country to join us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome please, Jack Hargreaves. Jack, thanks for allowing us into your home. Did you enjoy being back in front of the camera? I mean, you still do it to the manner born. Do you still enjoy it?
I don't notice the camera. I think if I did, I'd be frightened, but I've forgotten about it long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I always say, and I've always believed that you are the greatest natural broadcaster that I've ever known, because you could talk about anything forever and never get boring. I mean, were you born with that gift, or is it something that you've managed to acquire?
The whole thing was an accident, a result of a lunch. I went to lunch, I was working for the National Farmers Union, and I went to lunch with the broadcasting man because the union was cross about a programme on meat marketing they'd done. And I was elected to go and tick him off. And I ticked him off in Scott's restaurant in Piccadilly. And then we got on to other things. We had a nice lunch together. And he said to me, you and I do a fishing programme, would you? Because we got a lot of fishermen. And I said, well, it wouldn't work. You'd never catch anything. He said, would you like to do 6 for a lark? I did 6 for a lark. And then they changed from gone fishing to out of town and lasted 28 years.
And the rest is history.
I know good broadcasting starts by accident, you know.
Yes, mine did as well. An unhappy accident in my case. Well, I know you will have delighted so many people with that short film, and thank you for that. But don't go, Jack, because we have some more friends for you to meet after the break. Who are these friends? Well, they all come from one programme, and here's a bit of a clue, and it's not Come Dancing.
Monty, music maestro, please.
If you would like to remove the middleman from car insurance for smoother service and quotes that can often be cheaper, remember Churchill. 0500 200 300, the motorist's best friend.
With its special blend of waxes, Pledge really shines, cares, and protects your wood. Pledge brings the beauty of wood alive.
Catch the Watercress line from Alton or Alresford stations, and not only can you enjoy a ride on a real steam train on Hampshire's beautifully preserved railway, but you can also meet some real characters, like James, the red engine. And guess who else as well? Yes, Thomas, the tank engine, and all his friends. Come and meet Thomas and James on the Watercress line between April the 1st and 10th. Book now by ringing 0962 733 810.
So, you mock that one, don't
Yes,
you? So,
madly.
how
Mock
can I
it, mock.
tip a glass of water, which that is, upside down, without the water coming out, but taking the paper away? You doubt me, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Don't look. Turn away. Turn away.
What?
Look, talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst
how can I tip it
ourselves,
upside down
yes.
without the water coming out?
Yes?
There we are. How's it done? How's it done?
What's it
You're
something to
asking
do with
yourself.
something that you just popped underneath at that
Something to
moment?
do with a little plastic disc inside it.
Oh,
Like most of my
cries
things.
of cheat.
Like most of my things, a complete failure. But now you know, don't you?
Yes? How?
Oh. Well, it's been 18 years since we last did that. So
Has it
it's
really?
How and welcome to Bunty James.
Thank you.
How, John Miller. And how, Jack Hargreaves. Yes. And it's wonderful to be working alongside you again, Bunty.
It's absolutely lovely.
What are you up to?
Well, how can I begin to tell you? Well, what I'm doing at the moment is living in the extreme north of Scotland, and I'm a gallery owner with my husband of something called the Leibster Gallery, which is a picture gallery and a craft shop, and everything we sell is made in Scotland. You couldn't get much further north than we live, 14 miles south of Wick, and you only ever hear of Wick in the weather forecasts.
Well, a good plug, and you're making money.
Yes, oh, we're all right. We're doing all right.
You always were good, wasn't she, at making money?
Well, I shall ask you how many fivers I am holding.
And I shall say to you that is absolutely obvious. You are holding 2 fivers.
And I will say to you, it may be absolutely obvious, but it's not true. I'm holding 1 fiver.
I would dispute that.
Well, what?
1 fibre.
A clever bit of folding then, is it?
Yes, how do you fold it so that it looks like 2? Well, on an English fiver, you get the duke towards you first, and you fold it in half that way and crease it, and in half that way and crease it. You turn it the other way over, and you make that side go to there by creasing it that way. And you do the same that way by doing that. Turn it back again to the duke, push that in the middle, hold it by those 2 bits, and push it together.
Beautifully done.
And you've got 1 fibre that looks like 2.
Do you know what? You haven't changed a bit.
Well, it's a long time since that dress hit the screen, I can tell you.
And nor have I either. And John Miller, your hallmark was explosives. I mean,
Really?
are you still doing them?
Oh, yes. Can I do
No,
one?
you can't do them now. I mean, what else are you doing?
Well, that mainly. Otherwise, I have retired. I'm at a colossal age, you know.
You don't look it.
Jack Hargreaves is the only person I know who's older than me.
That's lovely. You have an explosion in a minute. Jack, difficult question. I mean, you invented HOW. What's its secret? I mean, what's the philosophy? What was the idea?
I couldn't see why entertainment couldn't be, information couldn't be entertainment.
Yeah.
So we tried to work out a way of mixing entertainment and information together, turning them into a parlour game. We then got you together with me,
yeah,
and muddled along.
To say the least.
Until after a few weeks, it suddenly turned into something.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all it was.
Information, entertainment, and the end result was this, a programme called HOW.
And I've got Gil here, who is going to be bitten rather than me. This is not a venomous snake, of course, but if you could put him full out and any name him at me, and see what happens. You can see, oh, he is moving, but he's having a terrific job to get across that glass because he couldn't get a grip on it. I'm afraid he was so quick we couldn't see the movement of his ribs underneath.
If the wood needs to move with damp and dryness, let's give it room to move. And so they invented this. You make a frame with grooved sides, with plenty of room for the panel, and then you drop the large piece of wood, which is subject to expansion and contraction, much more than the smaller ones, inside like that. And then the frame is closed off at the top with another grooved piece, and once that's in there, it can expand and contract however it likes, and it can move.
Then, if you cut out some more stencils, like little circles, you could make a centre of a different colour, like there are a little further down on this boot. There you are, that's the start of your stencil, and then you'd put in a little one like that and paint the centre a different shade.
Several techniques for trying to spot German submarines, and periscopes in particular, sticking out above the water. One of them was the use of seals, and they tried to train seals to hover in the vicinity of submarines, so the moment they saw lots of seals around, they would know there were submarines there as well. It worked quite well, except the early batch didn't work too well because they inadvertently fed them some bad mackerel by mistake, and the seals cleared off. But this was quite a serious way of doing it. They cleared off. Then they decided to use seagulls. The idea was if they could train seagulls to perch on top of the periscope like so, then when they saw the stay on there. When they saw the seagulls perched on top of these things, they would know the submarine was there and they could blow it up. But I'm not sure what happened to the seagull at the same time.
You like it? Very good. Yeah, very difficult.
Oh, there we are. I mean, that was just a sample of HOW, but of course the one thing we never had there was an explosion, John. So go on.
Can I really?
Yes, you can.
You mean now?
It is safe, though,
Not
is
when
it?
you said just now and I couldn't.
Oh, no.
This is like the old days, isn't it?
I must say, that's one thing I thought I'd left behind.
I'm going to get out while the game's good. Ladies and gentlemen, Bunty James, Jack Hargreaves, John Miller, the HOW team. No, I don't want any more. And now, by way of a complete contrast, time now for our religious spot.
I am Satania, the all-powerful, and don't you forget it. If by some strange chance you have not heard of me, don't worry, you will. For I am all-powerful and can harness the powers of darkness to do my bidding. Beware!
How typical of your evil tongue. Don't worry, my friends. I shall protect you, for I also have powers, but mine are for good. And to do my bidding, I use love, kindness, and understanding.
Rubbish!
And me, I'm off to a very bad start because I've forgotten my wand, but I hope not my words.
Well, that, of course, was the man who brought his own inimitable style to religious broadcasting. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Roger Royle. I mean, what exactly were you trying to do there?
Fred, how did I get away with that? No wonder I'm not the Archbishop of Canterbury. Gone wrong. We were trying, actually, Fred, to combine humour with religion. And I thought it was a good thing to try and do, and Southern were prepared to have a go at doing it. And it was terrific that they had that courage. We didn't get it entirely right, but we were nearly there.
But you've been very successful in doing that, even on the radio as well. I mean, it's humour coming through all the time.
I've been very fortunate. The two things that have kept me sane have been my faith and my sense of humour. They've seen me through many difficulties. They've also got me into trouble. But I've felt that if you can convey those onto other people, then life can be better for them as well.
You had strong links with Southern Television. In fact, I believe you did the very last epilogue.
I did the very last epilogue. You're absolutely right. I used to record them in a broom cupboard in Dover. It was wonderful. They had kickstart cameras. In fact, some of the cameramen tonight used to do them. It's lovely to see they brought the oldies back again. I think it's nice that old people can work.
That's gone down well, Roger.
But on that very, very last night, I did an epilogue of big farewells from the Bible, and I did something about Moses aiming for the promised land and never seeing it. And I said, that's Southern Television. We haven't quite made it.
Yes.
And with that, we came to an end.
Yes. That's a sad occasion.
Oh, very sad, but I felt very disloyal because I was here the first day of TVS. Sincerity's never been a big line with me.
And in fact, you did do programmes for TVS.
Yes, I did, but I will always be grateful for Southern because it was Southern who took the risks. Southern who were prepared to say, yes, let's look outside normal, conventional religious broadcasting. Let's see if there is something different. And I had lined up on those programmes of Royal Progress Sarah Kennedy. Now, she's done quite well. I'm awfully pleased.
Yes, she has.
Didn't think she'd make it, but she had.
Yeah.
Cliff Richard, you know, he only used to sing Bar Bar Black Sheep until I found him. I mean, he's done remarkably well. And we combined things. For instance, we had parachuting nuns. They're not easy to get hold of.
No,
I mean, you know, you can ring up Rent a Nun. They say they're out of order. And I thought to have all that, I played snooker with Terry Griffiths on the Isle of Wight in a church hall there, or church that had been changed into a snooker hall. Yeah. And then we got into a discussion about it. And although some people would say, Fred, that was sugaring the pill, I think it was a way of getting people to watch who would not normally watch religious programmes.
Yes.
And then you could chat about something serious afterwards.
And you've gone up in the world. Canon of Southwark Cathedral now.
I knew I'd go respectable. Do you like the jacket?
Yes, I do, very much indeed.
Well, I had to go respectable sometime, and I'm getting old. And
are you enjoying life?
Yes, I am. I'm enjoying life because I'm not confined by the church. I'm enjoying life because people allow me to do things like coming on something like this tonight.
Yes.
I mean, it's a super privilege to me to be into people's homes, and I've had variety galore, and I'm very grateful for it.
And we're grateful to you too, good sir, as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Royle. Thank you, Roger, very much indeed. Well, it's certainly been a real trip down memory lane for me this week. I've enjoyed every minute, actually, and there's more to come next week with two children who knew a certain scarecrow and Anita Harris, who recalls her encounter with a bear called Nookie.
Took Missy Mouse upon his knee.
Saying, Missy Mouse, will you marry me? Then we could raise a family.
A nog for you and a thrash for me. What do you want about mogs and frouses? Oh. Well, it's sort of, you know, when a frog and a mouse get married, they end up with children and then become frogs and mouses. Or nogs and frouses. Really? You don't really know, do you? No, never mind, on we go.
Dear Mr. Frog, Missy Mouse, he said, a sheltered life I've always led. I need permission to get wet.
Tell you what, I'll ask my Uncle Fred.